Now to Alabama's battle against COVID-19, a major step forward today. 4 million Alabamians now eligible to receive a vaccine. Governor Kay Ivey expanding access to everybody over the age of 16. She made that announcement late last week. The state now has administered 1.8 million doses to this point, about 1 million more on hand, so there is plenty to go around.
This week in Alabama, there will be more than 700 different locations that the state is supplying with vaccine, and additionally the federal retail pharmacy program has several hundred chain retail pharmacies that will have vaccine as well.
Well, here is a list of places offering this vaccine. We have found a lot of success in getting appointments at CVS stores. Walmart, Walgreens also offering the vaccine, and of course UAB. And don't forget about locally owned pharmacies as well. Johnson & Johnson says wasted doses of their vaccine can be, quote, made up in weeks. Some 15 million doses recently had to be thrown out. Johnson & Johnson still maintaining it's on track to deliver 24 million vials to several states next month.
Well, as we begin a new week, the COVID numbers in Alabama are looking good. 315 people currently being treated in state hospitals. The 2-week test positive rate right now at 4.5%. Those numbers haven't been that low since April 2020. Nationally, some 106 million Americans have received at least one dose of the COVID vaccine. The urgency to get more people immunized is real, as some medical experts believe yet another surge of infections could be coming. Melissa Rady explains the concern.
A record-setting weekend for air travel during the pandemic. Saturday marked the 24th consecutive day that more than 1 million passengers were screened at U.S. airports, according to data from the TSA.
People are just probably tired of being at home. You get tired after a certain point.
Some flyers attributing COVID-19 fatigue and an increase in vaccine doses administered to the soaring travel numbers.
Maybe the vaccine, people are starting to feel a little like they can go back out again.
Top U.S. health officials say vaccination is the solution to COVID-19 fatigue.
This is not going to last forever, because every day that you get 4 million, 3 million people vaccinated, you get closer and closer to control.
In an Easter video message, President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden encouraging Americans to do their part to help get things back to normal.
We share the sentiments of Pope Francis, who has said that getting vaccinated is a moral obligation.
As vaccinations and the virus compete, some states lift restrictions as variants continue to spread. Some health experts fear another surge in the U.S.
At this time, we really are in a Category 5 hurricane status with regard to the rest of the world. At this point, we will see in the next 2 weeks the highest number of cases reported globally since the beginning of the pandemic. In terms of the United States, we're just at the beginning of this surge. We haven't even really begun to see it yet.
That was Melissa Rady reporting. And here's where the U.S. stands in the race to herd immunity. The goal is 70% fully vaccinated. Well, right now we're at 18.5%. The good news here is half of the people 65 and older have been fully inoculated.
Concern today as the Texas Rangers will now push the COVID-19 boundaries. That organization now will open up its home baseball schedule with 100% capacity. That means 40,000 people could be in one spot in an open-air stadium. Now, masks will be required, cash not accepted, and as of now, it does not appear as if the game will be a sellout. You've probably heard a lot about this vaccine passport, and this whole discussion is a little bit polarizing. First thing you need to know, these are different than the cards that are given you after you receive your vaccine. This passport system would be kind of a broader system, like an app that would verify that you have received a vaccine, and you use it for travel or going to the store, to the restaurant. Supporters say it's really quick. It's an easy way to open more businesses. Opponents say, wait a minute, there's some privacy concerns here. Right now, they're being used only in New York on a very limited basis.
Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene plans to introduce legislation to eliminate Dr. Anthony Fauci's salary. The bill doesn't really stand a chance of going anywhere in the House. In a tweet, Democrat Representative Ted Lieu called the measure, quote, stupid and nonsensical. Forbes reports that Dr. Fauci currently makes $417,000 a year. Well, there's more coronavirus information available to you inside our WVTM 13 app. It's all scrolling at the top of your page there, including where you can get the vaccine and how to get an appointment.